Hey guys, this is LegoMatic 9, and I am more than excited to show you guys another one of my custom LEGO Star Wars models, and this time I have Anakin's custom Starfighter, also known as the Azure Angel. Now this model is from the 2003 animated Clone Wars show that premiered on Cartoon Network. Ran about 2 seasons. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, look it up. It's on YouTube. The whole thing is about 2 hours, and it is fantastic. It's such a huge part of my childhood, and this ship especially is a huge part of my childhood. I just remember sitting down, watching the Clone Wars, eating Chef Boyardee, playing with my Hasbro toy of this ship, and oh my god, I'm just so happy that I actually have a good LEGO version of this model. Now, LEGO did make this into a set a few years ago, surprisingly. Came out of left field, definitely was not expecting that to come out, and I have that, and it's been one of my favorite sets for a while. But after I made Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter a few weeks back, I noticed that the designer who did that, Mr. Idler, link to his Flickr stream will be down in the description if you guys want to go give him a follow. He made a version of that Starfighter, but Plo Koon's color scheme. When I looked at that, I thought, hey, I think I could modify that into this Starfighter, because I'd love to have a version of this ship, a very nice looking version of Anakin Starfighter. And so that's what I did. I took his Plo Koon Starfighter, used it as a base, and modified the hell out of it into this thing. So I can't call this 100% a MOC just because I did use Mr. Idler's design as a base, but I did do a lot of modifications on this that just make this thing a lot more unique. Now I do intend to offer some free instructions for this. There will just be a downloadable PDF, and you can also download a parts list and the studio file, the Bricklink studio file. So I should have those done by the time this video goes up, but if not, just check the video description and I'll have all of the updates for the instructions down there. So completely free. Mr. Idler offers his instructions for free, so I thought, you know, I'm not going to charge something for his design as the base. So, you know, they're completely free for you guys. So if you guys do build this, you know, this thing cost me about $90 to get all the parts for. I think it was about 504, 510-ish parts. So just keep that in mind. It is kind of expensive because dark blue isn't the easiest to come by, and there are some unique pieces in this set. But enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this custom model. Real quick, I want to do a comparison between this custom model and LEGO's official set that came out, I think, in 2015 is what I want to say here. I'm just amazed that LEGO actually made this into a set. So it was kind of a dream come true when this thing first came out. But here they are side to side, and you can just see the differences between the two. This one's dark blue, which I think is a little more accurate color than the normal blue, but it's still not bad. In terms of shape, I think the shape on Mr. Idler's Delta 7 is a lot better than this, just the sloping along the side. So that kind of translates really well into that ship. Whereas here it's kind of narrower, but it's also pretty bulky. This thing is a thick guy. That's not a really sleek looking Starfighter, whereas this guy is pretty sleek, and we'll see that here later on. But just side to side, these things are about the same width, I think, maybe. This one's probably wider, but they still have the pretty much the same shape. And then from the back of the tail fin to the front of the nose here, they're pretty much exactly the same. So we'll go ahead and bring in another ship here that goes along well with this, and this is Obi-Wan's Delta 7. Pretty much 2 of the same design Starfighters, just the bases. So you can just see that. That's a really nice comparison. I'm definitely going to have these 2 displayed together on my shelf. Now we'll go ahead and take a closer look at this thing. We'll do a quick 360 look so you guys can see this thing from all of the different angles. Here's the little side profile shot here. Just shows how much sleeker and much thinner this thing is from the official LEGO version. The back here, you know, we've just got the tail fin, the other fins on the wings, backside of the engines, and the main cockpit section. There's a little, I guess, splitter down here too, which looks pretty nice. You guys can see the landing gear. We'll go ahead and just flip it over real quick so you guys can see what the bottom looks like. So we've got all the landing gear down here, which we'll get to a little later, but that's just, you know, the main assembly down here for the engines. And going over to this side, pretty much the same thing as the other side. And then we also do have these engines up front. So these are pretty much the same engines as the official Lego set, just because I thought they did a really good job incorporating that into the build. Just how they attach is pretty much the same thing, with using the hinges, and then also the sticker pieces up here. Speaking of stickers, we do have a fair amount on this build, including the two on the front that I just showed you. We also do have the stripe going up the center here, and that was actually modified from the sticker sheet from the original Azure Angel. I just cut off the blue so it would match the actual dark blue here. We also have the Republic symbol, and then on the back of the cockpit we have those nice red letters. Now we can take a look at some of the features and the cool aspects of this build. So since it's a Starfighter, the main feature of this thing is to, fly it around, of course. Now this thing, like I was saying earlier, is really sturdy from pretty much everywhere except for the guns. These guys like to move a lot, especially on the top, since they're only attached by one stud, but I had to do that so I could have these side wings here. Other than that, this thing is just super sturdy, even up front. Like, these guys are even sturdy. So you guys can just grab this from anywhere if you're looking to just swoosh it around. It's perfectly applicable for that. Now, in terms of just build design, we can start up at the front. Now, this is the most intimidating part for this build because the Azure Angel's got some weird curves and just weird angles on it. So doing this was very challenging for me as someone who never builds on their own. I just like looking at other people's builds and copying them and giving them credit for it because I'm not a builder. I never claimed to be. I'm a customizer. I don't do that type of stuff. So doing this was a lot of fun, but it was, it was pretty hard for me to do this. But it turned out to be really simple the more I think about it, because what I ended up doing is I pretty much just took the building techniques from the official set and just kind of made them look a little nicer. So the official set on the front end here uses ball joints for these flaps. So I thought that was a really good idea just because it lets you get pretty much any angle you want and you can make these plates pretty thin. So that's what I ended up doing here is these front flaps are attached by ball joints, so you can like move them around if you want, but they're pretty much locked in this position. They're not really going anywhere, and I wish I could have them angle up a little more so they can like fan upwards, because right now it's kind of flat, which is a little disappointing, but it's the best I can really get it. So whatever, it looks okay. If anybody's got any other suggestions on how to do that, I'm all ears, because I really would like to get that nice angle, but this, it's good enough for now. So other than that, up front we do have the white stripe that I have right here. Now on Mr. Idler's build, he did have the blue stripes moved back a stud, and I had to move them forward a stud just so I could get that nice white angle right there. So I thought that was pretty cool. We do have R4 sitting right here. It's just the top of his dome. The actual droid isn't in there, which I think looks perfectly fine. I think the Lego's biggest problem with their Delta 7s is they try including the droid body into the builds, but it just doesn't work most of the time. In terms of other building techniques on the wings here for the stripes, they're just made using tiles and some jumper plates and some other just smaller 1x1 plates to keep those bricks in or keep these tiles in. These guys not having a stud in the middle is really helpful because you can slide them around as much as you want. So when you build this thing, just know you got to have these guys pressed up against one another. We've got the sticker right there, like I said before. We've got the intakes right here on the wings. We do have the dual cannons on both wings, which are pretty cool. I think they're long enough. They might be a little longer, might be a little shorter. I don't know, but I think they look pretty nice. So those are on there. But like I said, these guys are just a little fragile because they're only attached by one stud. So they come off quite easily. But you do have this wing right here. That's how that's attached right there. So we can just go ahead and put that guy back on there and take a look at the back. We already did kind of look at this earlier with the engines and everything, so I'm not going to cover that too much, but we can take a look at the cockpit. So we do have Anakin in here chilling in his cockpit. Can go ahead and take him out so we can get a better look in there. Now in there we do have the sticker that I forgot to mention. That is the targeting computer for Asajj Ventress's ship from the 2003 Clone Wars show. So that sticker's on there, and we got some flight controls. Nice seat design. I really love the use of this bucket handle for the headrest. I really like the shapes on the back here as well, using these curved slopes. I did have another method, but it had this plate as this curved slope right here is the only thing holding this thing in, which was not a secure connection at all. So I had to redesign that a little bit, so that's in there nice and snug now. We also have the splitter down here as well. But yeah, the top side is, other than that, it's just sleek looking. That's the one thing I really like. It's all nice and smooth. Some studs exposed, but I think it's just the right amount. So we can go ahead and flip this guy over and take a look at the bottom here. So like I was saying with the front flaps, I stole that design from Lego, and I also did that for the engine design. I think they did a really good job designing that just process down here. Just the techniques used, it was just a perfect design for that ship. So the engines might be a little small, but I think they work pretty well. It's definitely the best option that I could find. So you'd have the stickers up front for the splitter down the engines. You have the intakes and everything, and it just extends all the way down through this tubing to the back engines here. So this connection is kind of tight because this piece doesn't want to clip in here exactly, so you kind of have to just push it in there. It's going to be really tight getting that on there because these are connected right here through a Technic pin. So it's going to be kind of tough getting that in there, but you know, it's not too bad. But these things aren't coming off, and they're not going to move anytime soon. Even though they are by a smooth hinge joint, that's not moving at all. I really like the gray look of the bottom under here as well. And the last main feature of this is just the landing gear. So I redesigned the front landing gear just to be something simple that can just fold up like that. And then the back here, you can fold it down into the actual bottom section if it will allow me to do that. Go and just cram these guys down in here so it's nice and flush with the ship there. So that looks really nice. That's one of my favorite things that Mr. Idler incorporated into both of his Delta 7 models. Just looks so cool. So other than that, we can just set this guy down. You can just see how he can lay all right without the landing gear even up because the engines kind of act as front landing gear, and then it just lays on the guns in the back. So other than that, that is pretty much it for the features on this build. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. So let's go ahead and finish off this video. Alright, I think I talked about everything I wanted to say for Anakin's custom Jedi Starfighter, also known as the Azure Angel. I gotta give two huge shoutouts. First goes to Mr. Idler, of course, since he did do the base design of Plo Koon Starfighter, which I then just modified into this guy, as you guys have heard a million times by now. Then also the second goes to BlenderBricks for doing that awesome animation at the beginning of this video. That thing just turned out so good. I'm so glad he reached out to me and offered to do that for me. I think we are going to collab in the future on some projects, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to say anything just yet because I want to make sure we can actually do it, but other than that, we should have some cool stuff for you guys. Now, I do have a lot more custom Starfighters in the pipeline. We've got Vulture Droids, we've got TIE Fighters, Naboo Starfighter, Jedi Interceptor, maybe a Venator, SR-71 Blackbird, A-10 Warthog. I got a lot of ideas. I don't know how long it'll take me to get to those or just how much money all that is going to cost. But for now, I think I'm going to take a break after those Vulture Droids because I already have them done anyway. But yeah, so this guy just turned out really awesome. I'm super proud of this design. So if you guys have any feedback for this, just let me know. Did you like it? Do you have suggestions? What do you guys think? Just let me know down in the comments. I do plan on starting some custom figures soon. I know I've been kind of taking a little break from doing my main Star Wars projects, but now that I have this thing done and this video all done, I can just focus on that. So I'll be working on some figures for The Mandalorian and then Rise of Skywalker, so those should be coming out in the next few months. But other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.